Welcome everybody to Daily Census Explained, where we explain the story in more detail, but in a fun way, so you can know the backstory and how the inspiration came for each episode and each chapter. Thank you guys for listening.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to Daily Census Explained. We're on Chapter 5, the interrogation. Now, of course, we have kind of been undergoing an interrogation here on several levels as we go, but it just keeps intensifying. And so now all of the staff are nervous about what comes next. And this starts to reveal more of the personal insecurities and jealousies of the staff members toward each other. And, you got people like Ed Rivera, the COO, who thinks that Scotty Allen might eventually replace him, like he's actually intimidated by him. And, we've got Scotty Allen trying to portray an air of, effortless confidence and competence. But, he knows he has to be better than all the others as a black man in this institution to keep his position. So he tries to make it look effortless, but he is really working on how he presents and how he has, built this position and trying to be the guy that, that people like, but is also a good boss and all these things. He's working really hard. And I like that you put that under the surface, that it's not just his natural ease, that he is really working at putting on a certain presentation because of knowing that he has to work harder.
He has to.
Yeah.
He has to.
So I appreciated that detail. And then, Stacey Mills is just trying to hold on until retirement. So we've got all of these people with different motivations and, like I said, different insecurities. So we're starting to see what's going on under the surface. Mm-hmm. And how they all start to, you were saying a minute, Deidre, starting to turn on each other, point fingers at each other.
Right. The perfect opportunity to either gain a position or to tear someone down that they've been eyeing for a while. Because everyone's in the same room now.
Yes. Yeah. So, of course, we've got all the finger pointing and blame shifting. And as we were talking about in the last chapter, it's still being discussed in this one, what was going on with the equipment. And, it's the holiday season. Parts couldn't get there any faster. And we've got, the CEO, Snipes. She's looking for someone to take the blame. And she's kind of asking Scotty Allen, why shouldn't you be the one that takes the blame on this? Like she's kind of, trying to maybe put it on him and make him defend himself in his position here.
Well, basically what that was, she really handpicked Scotty.
Yeah.
So she gave him the benefit of the doubt when she didn't give it to Stacey Mills. She was going to burn Stacey first.
Yeah.
But when Stacey had the deniability with documents, she had to let him go.
Yeah.
That's why Stacey wanted to stay around and like, yo, okay, well, how he's going to worm his way out of this?
Yeah.
I got out of it because we both was in here sweating. She relieves him.
Right.
And that's when she talked to Scotty one-on-one. Like, look, some people didn't want me to hire you anyway.
Yeah.
But I did. And I went through the same situation. I was Scotty Allen.
Yes.
So I went through the same situation. So a lot of stuff was personal to me. How I found out later that they wanted me for the CEO's position. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that. And the guy hated me for it because everything he wanted to be on his resume, I already had it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I didn't know this guy was out to get me till later. By then, I had took care of everything, But again, it had to show you I had to be 10 times better than this guy, and he was still my boss.
Yes.
Well, he know good and damn well he should have been working for me.
Right.
But I didn't want his job, but he really thought I wanted it.
Yeah.
So anything he could do, find anything on me, he was trying to find it, but he couldn't. So he just let it go after a while, Once you realize, oh, this guy really is going to do that, just leave him alone.
Right.
But that took a few years.
But people with those deep insecurities and maybe an imposter complex, knowing that maybe
sooner or later they're going to realize he don't know half the shit he knows.
Right.
That he says he knows.
Right, exactly.
But that with the Scotty Allen thing, that's why I put in that for. But again, the biomed guy covered himself perfectly.
Yes.
I got deniability. We did exactly by protocol. Ma'am, you didn't want to get no more expensive equipment. That wasn't me.
Right.
It was you. So with Scotty, she gave him benefit of the doubt. With Scotty, he could have got burned.
Yeah.
But, the nurses took that. But she did tell Scotty he was on high alert.
And you see how fast he left when he was dismissed. He didn't want to be no part of that, even though he wanted to see what was going to happen to Scotty. Once he was dismissed, he was like, I can't wait to
Stacey
see how
got
this
the hell
gonna,
up out
he
of
got
there.
out of there.
Yeah, because like he said, he close to retirement.
Yeah.
He don't want any problem. He's one of those guys staying low key, doing what he can. He only got 2 years left to retire. He ain't fucking up his money.
But what he also did say is once he left, he knew what was going to happen to Scotty would get around quick enough because the hospital.
Yeah, he hear about it.
The hospital, nobody in the hospital can keep quiet.
That's any job, but hospitals definitely there's rumors going around. Trust me.
And it again, as all of this is churning, they still know that someone shut off the machine, but they're still not suspecting someone who was doing it with malicious intent.
Malintent. Yeah.
It all looks like.
Let's right now look like the nurses in
Right.
Looks like neglect.
Yeah. And so that continues to occur. And again, as we were saying, in any organization, in an attempt to protect the organization and its reputation, sometimes you aren't looking deep enough. You're just looking for who's going to take this blame so that we can say, this was the individual. It is not this whole institution. It's not poor training. It's not anything we were doing wrong. It's just someone screwed up. And
that's natural. The CEO has to do.
Yeah,
because the people on the other end of the people with loss, they want answers. What happened? How could this happen?
And plus the media at this point, because it got out to the media is there.
Right.
So she has to give answers. HR has to be involved to make sure everything is covered.
And fast.
And fast. So who's the quickest one to scapegoats right now will be those nurses.
Yes.
And then you got to make some changes with the plan of correction.
Process improvement.
Yep. POC, plan of correction.
Yeah. Well, and I again, we talked about this in the last chapter and this one, is that paper trail, and that sometimes that's all that saves you, is having that paper trail. That's my wife always says in any job, because it has saved her, is that document.
It saved me, brother.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Me as well. If it wasn't in writing, it didn't happen.
Yep.
I know people who work for me or don't work for me or deal with me, hates everything is in writing.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, bro, I understand you calling me, but can you please email me just in case I forget?
Right.
But I need that documentation.
Yeah. Because people will come for you, and it might be years later, and they're like, oh, where's that document? And if you can pull it up and be like, right here, I got it all covered.
That's pretty much my reputation at this point.
Yeah.
Aubrey got it all saved, bro.
Yep. Yep. Don't try and pretend that something different happened. It is documented exactly as it occurred. So
They'll try to mistake your words, and that's not what you said. Well, that is what I said. It's written right here,
yeah,
verbatim.
Because I think that it's one of the hardest life lessons, is that no matter how good you are at your job, no matter how honest you are, no matter how hard a worker you are, someone might see you as a potential scapegoat in a situation that you barely had anything to do with, or you did the right thing, but because things can be twisted and manipulated.
Exactly.
And again, if there's no documentation, they can say you didn't do what you were supposed to, and you don't really necessarily have any leg to stand on at that point.
Treat everything like the court of law.
Yeah.
If it ain't in writing, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want. Whoever got the documents win.
Yeah.
And that's basically business.
Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely true. So I also liked seeing what we're going to see with Stacey Mills a little bit later. Is right now he's just kind of hanging on, but it's sometimes interesting how that the people who are just riding it out or skating it out, sometimes things can shift rapidly and their ambitions can rise to the surface.
Yes, sir.
And so we see a little more of that with him later, is that he's not just, at least it might be a schlub, but still in some people's eyes has potential at least to be a good soldier for them. Mm-hmm. So, all right. Well, I felt like, again, we were getting to know some more people here, more of the operations, but now we seem to sort of be coming to the end of this initial
investigation.
Yeah, and I think in one more chapter we have a little bit more of it, but then we're going to start to move into what happens in the longer run after that.
Yes, because basically these chapters are just explaining each character,
right?
And they're describing them more detail. And after that, it's action to the end,
right?
And that's typically how you want to do every episode, every series.
Yeah.
You want to get them in the beginning, explain who everybody is, more they detail, they characteristics, their attitudes, and after that, it's got to be action from here on out, and that's exactly what I do. I mean, after this next chapter, it's bam, 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 bam to the end.
Yep.
That's what you want.
Yep, for sure. But what is still going on in all of that, and we'll get into that more, is the characters continue to develop, and I like that. That sometimes people set up their characters and then they just are what they are, and that you don't see anything more to them, and we start to find out more about some of these people, and that's a really nice touch. So.
Yeah, you can forget who they are really quick if you don't understand who they are and what position they play in the scenes.
Yeah, that's why I tell anybody who's beginning writing, especially screenplays, get first draft.
Yeah.
I'm not getting paid for first draft yet as a sponsor, but you can actually write each character down and their characteristics. And as you're writing, it'll remind you, hey, maybe this character need to be in this scene because you haven't used them in a while. Right. And you can actually see the detail. And because sometimes you forget, I normally write, 15 to 20 characters per screenplay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, some of you might forget, but it will remind you, this would be a perfect time to put this character back in. So that's why I'm like, I recommend that for anybody. It costs a lot of money, but it's worth it.
What version are they on now? First Draft has been around forever. I remember when I lived
I got the automatic update because military get a discount.
Yeah. Well, when I lived in LA 20 years ago, people were using First Draft, but I think it was fairly... I don't know if it was fairly new at the time, but it was still fairly young.
Oh, it's elaborate now.
Yeah.
How you can actually put the characters' pictures and description and everything, and it'll tell you exactly when to put them back in.
Nice. I'm going to have to check it out. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us again, and we'll see you for Chapter 6 coming soon.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for Daily Census Explained. We'll see you in the next chapter. So if you could just please assist us by hitting the like, subscribe, and notification buttons. You can also comment and share our content. These small things really help our channel, and it means a lot to us. That's going to be it for now. Until next time, remember you are cherished by us.